am live. I have started a new book. It's entitled Vague Vacations, and it is a book by Joan Marshall Grant. It was published, when was it published? In 1947, and it is a book about her journeys. She was born in 1907, so she was 40 here. Chapter 2. Fin de saison, the end of the season. We drove through Boulogne to the Brasserie Liégeoise, a worthy prelude to more than 70 restaurants in which, during the following 7 weeks, we discovered the art of eating and drinking. Moule marinière, the first I had seen for 8 years, steamed on the next table. Mussels, I exclaimed. The last time I ate them was in a hotel here in 1938. I remembered its manageress and then realized that our hotel was now only a waste of rubble. Perhaps not mussels. It might be silly to risk shellfish so soon. Later, when I came to know Pat better, I would have realized that it was just this cringing to the weather attitude which most annoyed him. We had intelligent hors d'oeuvre, an entrecôte which would have been a week's meat ration in England, and a bottle of champagne, moins et chandon. We relaxed and congratulated ourselves, not only that we were at last in France, but also because I was free from spots. Suddenly I thought I had choked. I went on choking. I had seen asthma in other people too often not to recognize it in myself. Asthma, the one thing I thought I was proof against. Purple and humiliated, I retreated to the car, leaving Charles to pay the bill and explain to the waiter who came to the car to offer the doubtful consolation that his aunt was a martyr to the same affliction. In a side street, peered at from several directions, Charles hurriedly gave me an injection. They probably think you are doping me and that I shall wake up in a brothel in Buenos Aires, I said gloomily. There is a policeman coming down the street, so you will be in prison while I languish in the local Lazar house. If he thinks I'm trying to kidnap you, the call-up age for that profession must have increased. I looked at myself in the driving mirror. He could not have been more right. The asthma subsided on the way to Le Touquet, and we reached the Hotel Westminster at 7. The bedroom to which I was conducted while Charles garaged the car had been newly redecorated in a kaleidoscope of colours. Orange eiderdown leered at the magenta carpet, turquoise walls jostled apple green furniture, lavishly trimmed with gilt. I opened the window and discovered myself in a shower of glass. The yellow curtains streamed into the room, rain poured through and began to collect in pools among the suitcases. In despair, I rang the bell. A waiter arrived and assured me that the window glass was so thin that such accidents frequently occurred, and that a glacier would arrive within minutes. He brought brandy. At least Charles need not be thirsty, as well as damp, and remained to chat so that I should not feel lonely. He apologized for the emptiness of the hotel, which was due to close at the end of the week. We discussed the devastation of the town, which he said had been caused chiefly by rockets falling short on their way to England. He had 3 sisters whose family history he recounted at length. The first married a German, and so is kaput, whatever significance the word may have in such a context. The second married an Englishman and lives happily in Birmingham. The third encountered a Canadian during the liberation and has twins as a souvenir, which he hastened to assure me are a great joy to his mother with whom they live. I ceased to believe in the glacier. So did Charles, or glazier, So did Charles, who gloomily stuffed the hole in the window with his trench coat. But against all expectations he arrived within 10 minutes and proved to be a friend of Patvert. He was very small, very cheerful, very talkative. He carried on his back several sheets of glass and in an astonishingly short time had cut a new pane by eye and fitted it accurately. He took the view that although glass was still difficult to get and the putty a disgrace to his art, he personally had no anxieties about employment, as all the emergency repairs would have to be done again. We went in search of the bar, confident that drink and dinner would restore us. The bar was shut, and no food, except breakfast, was served in the hotel. The hall porter assured us that there was one good restaurant still open in the town, and as it was still raining, we decided to take a taxi instead of fetching the car. At last the taxi arrived, and we were confident that within minutes we should be warm with drink and food. But the taxi ran out of petrol. The driver disappeared into the darkness. I suddenly recalled a garage in Toulouse before the war, when after gaining prestige by discussing the malaise of my car in the correct terms, I had wanted a tin of petrol and reduced the personnel to helpless giggles by demanding a bidet instead of a bidon. When at last we reached the restaurant and had paid off the taxi, the lonely barman informed us regretfully that they no longer served food. We set off through the rain and at last found a place that was still open. We were the only occupants. We ate sad soup and tough steak and were too depressed to converse with the proprietor. We drudged home through the full gale among shattered villas, forlorn as broken toys. Oh, that was the end of season. So the third chapter is entitled Little Fishes, and I shall read that ASAP.